It's F1 Manager 23 at the Netherlands, Zandvoort.
Hello, and a very warm welcome as we prepare for the Dutch Grand Prix. We're back from the summer break with topped-up tans. Vacation, though, is now over, and it's time to get serious on the track for the second half of the F1 season. On the North Sea coast of the Netherlands, Zandvoort is named for the dunes that split the circuit from the water. Coastal winds sweep across this tricky track, which has a banked section steeper than most ovals. Lewis Hamilton marked the previous race with yet another win and proved that he still has the tenacity to succeed in this sport. So, without further ado, let's get started.
So yeah, we come off the back of an amazing Belgian Grand Prix, hoping to push for more. 17th and 18th in free practice one, but like I've said for God knows how many times, you're all sick of hearing it probably, we don't show our first foot in practice. 8th and 17th though, and the fastest inter runner in FP2. The rest went on dries at the end. And 3rd and 20th in FP3. By the way, F1 Manager 24 is downloading, ready for the 23rd of July. Yeah, make sure to follow me on Twitch. Mega Gamer 8888.
We're moving on now to the all-important qualifying session.
Good overtaking spots at Zandvoort are few and far between, so there's a lot of pressure to get qualifying just right. Drivers will be hoping for good downforce from their car setup to keep them on the track through the long sweeping corners.
Karun, if we could perhaps talk about Lewis for a moment. How do you think he's feeling?
Now this is a driver with confidence, and that's clear from their performance today. But will that confidence pay off? We'll have to wait and see.
And with that, let's get back onto the track.
Make sure to like and subscribe as well. Anyway, into Q1, down towards turn 1, rising through the uphill corners of 1, down into 2, then massively up through 3, taking a high line unlike on EA's F1 game, because this F1 game is actually semi-realistic. It's going to get even more realistic in F1 Manager 24. Then coming through the first sector, it's green and purple for George through the second sector, down the long straight, one of 2 DRS zones down here, down towards the bottom of the track, then rising up through this straight, rising through the last corner, and then down, well, the penultimate corner, then down through the last corner, up to the line. It's 3rd and 4th, we take that. If we keep gaining on Max Verstappen and Red Bull, because they're the closer rivals, I'm not going to be angry at that. But anyway, coming through turn 1 and turn 2, Lewis is very close to George, unlike George to Lewis in Q2. At the end of the session as well, it's green for both drivers, so we're not going purple. Hopefully we can get both cars like 4th and 5th or something. Just as long as we're through, we're through. Let's go. And we can knock Perez out here potentially if he has a bad lap. Perez about to come across the line, I think. Or if that was him, he's not improved. Anyway, up to the line. Yeah, 4th and 5th. Later 5th and 6th. Nobody surprisingly knocked out. Daniel, Yuki, Kevin, Oscar, Nico. Hopefully, as the season progresses, we can fight for more wins, because we are genuinely in this title fight, I do believe. We're leading the constructors, and Lewis is now only, is it 8 points off in the drivers, or 15 off in the drivers? He's close. It's a doable now, whereas before it was a long shot. Now it's doable, but we're gonna have to prioritise Lewis from now on over George. Like, Lewis is the number 1 driver now till the end of the season, because he is just quicker. Not by much, but he is just quicker. And see that those little gaps are what's making Lewis P2 right now and George P6. Well, I've actually tried to get George a slipstream on Lewis, and Lewis a slipstream on a Red Bull, and Lewis is actually quickest through the first sector. George is green though, so he is improving, because George hasn't had a slipstream on either lap, but this is the fresh tyres lap, and before that would have been a scrub. And Lewis goes green in the second sector, as does George, and this is where the slipstream's really going to matter. Through the last corner, down towards the bottom of the circuit, up to the line. What's it going to be? It's pole by a tenth. George goes P4, 10th and a half off. See, a 10th and a half is such a small gap, but just a 10th and a half, and there's 2 cars in between. Ocon and Leclerc are the only 2 that can stop us from taking a 1-4. What is Leclerc going to do? He goes up to second, it's now a 1-5, but that is it, I think, because no offence to Ocon, but I don't think he's getting pole. But we'll watch the lap. It's wide at that corner, but I think they all go wide at that corner. But I don't know if that's realistic or not. But anyway, we are going through the penultimate corner and the last corner, down towards the bottom of the track. Can Ocon deny us pole? No, it's P1 and P5 on the grid for Sunday's race.
Get ready for some fighting. The drivers are ready and the crowds are waiting. It's the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And indeed it is lights out and away we go. Make sure they're on high aggression and make sure I save it, because I forget to save it before going into the race. So yeah, we love a good old save on this channel. I think I've done that the last 3 episodes. Anyway, lights out and away we go. He's got a decent start off pole position. George got a decent start off P5. Now to P4. He's going to go down the inside of the banking. He's not going to get as good of an exit as a Red Bull, so the Red Bull will fly past on the softs. And Lewis is going to go on lap 8 down the inside into turn 1. That's a nice and neat move on Leclerc. Who now we need to save battery, because we're ending up at the back at the end of the lap with no battery. As Lewis and Charles going back and forth, and you just saw Verstappen overtake Sainz there for P3. As Russell has dropped out of the DRS train now because he's just not quick enough. This car does need a few more upgrades to consistently be there, because we've kind of got our wins on luck and strategy. Anyway, Hamilton chopping and changing with Leclerc. He's now going to chop and change again, back up into P1. Around the outside, Leclerc's going to go for the inside. We're going to go for the inside of the banking, which probably means Leclerc's going to get it off the corner, which he does. And then Lewis is going to go around turn 1 again, but can't quite make it. And Max is going to try it on Lewis, because Lewis lost DRS by the tiniest of margins, but Max is able to get it. And we're going to overtake Max again, which is kind of annoying because I didn't think we had the pace, but Max gets us again. We get that's actually George fighting Perez, as Lewis loses another place to Sainz, as Max must have boxed by this point. George loses a place to Stroll. George then regains the place to Stroll pits, and Lewis is in on lap 26 for his stop onto another set of the medium compound tyres. It's a 2.9 second stop, and our average has been 3.1, so that's quite a decent stop. But I don't quite know how to make the pit stop people good. So yeah, as Charles comes into the pits, and we come into the pits. Charles has actually gone soft, so I think the Ferrari are on medium, soft. We're on medium, soft. So we'll see who can win that battle, as we're currently 5th in the pit stop championship. We'll take that, as George has just sped past Alonso on the pit exit, and now on lap 36 he's going to get past Stroll, and Lewis on lap 39 is going to get past Verstappen up to P2 as Verstappen gets past. But this is obviously a good moment for a save while they're in the middle of a battle, as Lewis is now going to go down the inside, and through he goes, as Max now gets past him on lap 40. You can't park there, sir. As Hamilton goes round the outside of Verstappen, now we're going to have to balls to the walls, full push it to try and get away from him. But he goes down the inside again. We're just not able to get our whole car ahead and just overtake him, which is what's part of causing a problem. As George is now fighting Sainz, as Lewis has still not got maxed out DRS. No, George is fighting Leclerc, sorry. George is fighting Leclerc. Leclerc, I think, is on new tyres. Yeah, he's on new tyres because he was on softs earlier. So they've actually done a medium, soft, medium. As Verstappen, Sainz got past Verstappen, who's on fresh softs. And Lewis and Sainz put the same lap. Sainz, Red Bull get... Okay, Red Bull... Sainz got a quicker pit stop than us. But then he just stopped in our car, so we haven't got damage as George comes into the pits for his set softs. On they go, Verstappen also in the pits. Verstappen is now out of the pits. George is now out of the pits. Unfortunately, we've lost, now just one pit stop point as Sainz takes fast lap and goes past Lewis, but these softs don't have much leeway in them. You can't really push them, so that's why we're not pushing them, as George is now fighting Verstappen, as this Mercedes is showing good pace in the second half of the race. It's just too little too late, as George is now going to come past Max on lap 66 for the place, and now Max has gone back down the inside as George can now come down the inside, use the RS, and that is the place for us, or we thought, as he leaves the door open, even though he has a whole car ahead, which is something I hate on F1 Manager, but oh well. And on the final lap, Carlos's tyre wear wasn't enough. Lewis had some spare tyre in the end, so that's what I gambled on. Wasn't enough. Charles P1, Sainz P2, Lewis P3, George P4. Good race, solid pace, just not as quick as the Ferraris today, which is what we've seen at circuits similar, like Monaco, but we were quicker in Hungary, but Red Bull are the main target, and from this point onwards, Lewis has to be the priority to George, as George nearly came the fastest lap on the last lap, but I think he lost out by a second, but that was George's best lap of the race by far, because Red Bull only scored 14 points today and we scored 22, so that's an 8-point gain, but Ferrari would have scored 44. So that's also a big gain that we need to stop.
Fantastic drive from Lewis Hamilton.
This podium is something the whole team can be proud of. Excellent strategy and perfectly executed.
Pure elation there as the driver regroups with a team that worked so hard to see this moment. And Lewis Hamilton takes to the podium once more, adding yet another trophy to his legacy.
After 7 podiums, it doesn't seem like it's getting old for them, but they've worked hard for it.
A sea of smiles all around. They're on top of the world, here in Zandvoort. And as proceedings start to wind down here, what will Mercedes have made of this result, Karun?
They'll certainly be pleased to have made the podium. A job well done for sure.
And that then marks the end of events here at Zandvoort.
We now look ahead to the next round in Monza in Italy. The Temple of Speed is waiting and the teams will be ready and raring to go.
Yeah, so P3 from pole is not great, but P4 from P5 is okay. Yeah, just not much we could have done really. The gaps are so close. Like, for the top 3 are separated by 10 seconds. As Lewis moves to within 8 points of Max Verstappen, and him and Charles are now equal, and George is about 30 points behind, which is what I mean. It's not much of a gap, but we can't. If we have equal status and don't prioritise the driver ahead, we will lose points while they fight each other, as we overtake Haas in the pit stop championship because we get a point. But yeah, we need to sort these pit stops out soon, as we now have the side pods taking even longer, the new design taking even longer. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for the Italian Grand Prix. Goodbye.